Hello and welcome to our 3 in, 3 out debate. We are live. This is going to be huge. It's probably in the title already. We've got Adam, Statman Dave and Stephen Howson to discuss 3 players they would like to see leave Manchester United this transfer window and 3 players they'd like to see the club sign. To make this interesting and because repetition is never exciting, they are going to have to pick different players to each other. So we're going to use cards. I've got these lovely Manchester United branded cards to work out who goes first each time. So if someone says Griezmann in, no one else can say Griezmann. So we'll have 9 players total in, 9 players total out. That is it. We're going to start with the ins. So I'll start with this card. Person closest to it wins. Guesses, please, as to what this card is.
7.
Dave, you've got no sound.
5 of spades.
Okay, Howson.
8 of whatever.
Well, suits, please, guys.
7 of diamonds.
8 of clubs.
Okay, Howson goes first, Matt goes second, Dave goes third because it was a 10. And that's how that worked. So, first picks, please. Stephen Howson, you're up.
Is this out?
Are we going for ins or outs, Arkin?
This is ins. We're on ins.
Well, Wenger in for 1, Corbyn in for 2, and I'll think of the third one in a bit. So players in. We need a serious top-level player, and that top-level player is going to be Antoine Griezmann. I'm sure
it's
there's
lazy
no
to take that first, isn't it?
Oh,
boring that, Alison. That's boring, mate.
I'm upset that I picked the most obvious in the world. Jesus Christ, lads. So I don't really need to justify why we need Antoine Griezmann. We missed
for the sake of this video, yes,
you do.
Well, maybe don't interrupt me, and I was going to give the justification. I was saying I don't need to, but I'm going to.
Okay.
So, Griezmann is the sort of player that's going to massively up our goal output. Last season, we relied heavily on Zlatan. The team was set up to play and worked to Zlatan's strengths, and we didn't really have goals coming from elsewhere on the pitch. I think Antoine Griezmann's going to bring goals on his own, but I think he also brings in more people involved in the play as well. I don't think he's going to be the main number 9 though, because my second in would be.
Hang on, just one, mate. Just one.
I thought it's called three outs,
yeah,
Samuel.
We all do one, not me, but the other guys will all do one. Then we'll find out who goes next. You don't even necessarily get to go first when you do your second one. We get the cards out again to make it fair. So you've gone with Griezmann, and you've said because you think he's good, and that's it. Dave, Adam, please.
Justify football's not a sport for you. United need Griezmann like you need an umbrella in the rain. That's what we need him like.
Guys, do you agree with that?
What I would say about Antoine Griezmann is, obviously I agree with it. But what I would say is, I think people need to relax a little bit as well, because he's going to be new to the Premier League. His stature isn't great. And I think he'd take some time to adapt. We've already seen with Paul Pogba the pressure that people put on him if he doesn't score a goal or get an assist every single game. And I think some of the same people that are saying, Griezmann would solve all our problems, would then, in turn, if he didn't score in his first month, if he joined Manchester United, be on his case saying, Griezmann's shit is not worth the money and all this, that and the other. Steve, I know you're one of those guys that reacts like that sometimes, and I just don't want you to do it to yourself, mate. So, calm down a bit.
Dave, do you think in a team that actually probably creates a lot of chances but doesn't score any, needs Antoine Griezmann?
I think, I've got to be honest, there's nothing you can say. Guys. This is the problem with Antoine Griezmann. I think Antoine Griezmann's one that we'd all would have picked first because he's the guy that could take United to that next level. We know what he's done in the Champions League in the last few seasons, what he's done in La Liga. He's an elite finisher, and that's what United have lacked. United have created so many chances in the Premier League, but haven't taken their shots inside the box, and that's something that Griezmann just does. He's so calm, he's so collective in those situations, opens himself up, sides foot the ball home. It's simple as that. And this season he's had goals from range. Only Messi in La Liga scored more goals from outside the area than Antoine Griezmann. And he really would work in a Mourinho system. His work rate we saw in the semi-final of Champions League against Real Madrid was fantastic. Dropping back, making tackles, just putting in the work that we haven't really seen this season from United's attackers that Mourinho loves and Mourinho gets. So for me, it makes sense in an attacking sense, makes sense in a defensive sense, and of course on that counter-attack, if United sign a sort of target man-esque striker, or they go with the pace of Martial or Marcus Rashford, Antoine Griezmann combining with those guys, it's just kind of it. You know, I don't think there's nothing that says Antoine Griezmann shouldn't sign for Manchester United. There's no reason.
It'd be so exciting, but I think Steve's wrong anyway.
Okay, right, Adam, you are second because you were next closest to the 10. So please give us your first choice.
Okay, now Griezmann was going to be all of our first choice. I think that's safe to say. But I don't think I'm going to pick a striker for the simple reason that I think Griezmann will join anyway, and we can get 4 players in this summer. So my 3 on top of Griezmann.
Just one, remember.
Well, one.
One.
Yeah. One. I don't shoot my load inside the first minute. Don't worry, Sam. Toby Alderweireld. I don't think it's realistic, but nobody told me I needed to be realistic today.
Fine.
And I think he's the best centre-half in the Premier League. I think he's been fantastic for Tottenham Hotspur. But I think Tottenham Hotspur are Tottenham Hotspur. And I don't think they're going to win any trophies. If they were going to win something, they would have. If they were going to win the league, they would have won it either this season or last season when Leicester City won it. And I think there's only so long you can offer teams a dream and offer teams the opportunity to potentially win things. I think at Manchester United, yes, we finished below Tottenham Hotspur, but we're in the Champions League. We've got the pedigree of a Champions League team. We've got a manager who's been there and done that, won trophies everywhere. And I think that's one thing that we could offer to Toby Alderweireld that Tottenham Hotspur can't: silverware. Because let's face it, United will win the league before Tottenham Hotspur do. United will win the European Cup again before Tottenham Hotspur do. And United will probably win the FA Cup before Tottenham Hotspur do. So if Toby Alderweireld wants to win things, come to Manchester United and go into that defence alongside Eric Bailly and be potentially the best centre-half partnership in the Premier League. So
Spurs fans, clip that up right now and just keep it safe.
Yeah, keep it safe.
Okay.
They ain't going to win the league or Champions League before us, are they really? Come on, man.
No, but I could see them winning an FA Cup or something like that and then just...
Oh, yeah, but if they win an FA Cup and go mad over that because of an FA Cup...
Of course they will. You haven't meant to put pressure on.
Let's keep focused on the player as opposed to what Spurs may or may not win in the future. Fortune telling is not necessarily our strong point, but we can talk about the players.
Though, right?
Dave, do you think Toby Alderweireld would be a solid signing?
I think it'd be a solid signing, but I think the problem is David Levy. You know, we've dealt with Spurs
Daniel,
before, and Levy. They've put the price on these players massively. You know, in terms of Toby Alderweireld, he's a fantastic ball player. He's completed more long passes than any other centre back in the Premier League since he moved to Tottenham Hotspur. But the problem is the cost, the money. Is he the right age? Is he the right guy for what United need? He seems like quite a quiet character around that Tottenham back four. You think of Vertonghen as the captain, the leader. United need a leader. They might not need someone like Toby. It's one of these players that is a little bit quiet. Next to Eric Bailly, we need someone a bit strong, a bit personality, and that's the only thing that I'd say potentially he doesn't have. And the cost is going to be absolutely massive. We've seen Spurs getting 80 million for, or whatever it was, for Gareth Bale. It's going to be similar for one of their best centre-backs. So it's one of these things where I don't know if that's an achievable signing for Manchester United. I don't think it's the right guy. I think they need someone physical. They need someone strong instead of...
is Eric Bailly not that, though? And I think in Eric Bailly we have somebody like that. I think they accompany each other perfectly well. And also, with Axel Tuanzebe coming through, I think Alderweireld's a good age to still be able to give Axel Tuanzebe and the likes of any good centre-halves the opportunities. So that's...
I just think if that's the stipulation of like you want an older centre half, I think there's better centre halves that suit Mourinho a lot better in Europe. You know, your Godins, your Bonucci's. If you're going to spend big on centre back,
okay, all right,
100% ready for the centre back for the. Yes,
good points, all well made. Please tell us your first player.
I'm going to go for Belotti, El Gallo, the Torino striker that's absolutely exploded this season. 26 goals in Serie A. The really important part about Belotti is he's ready for the Premier League in terms of his stature. He's really barrel-chested, he's really strong, he's really physical. But the really interesting part about his 26 goals, 10 have come with his head. That's the most of any player in Europe's top 5 leagues. And given that United play this style under Mourinho where they cross the ball a lot, it makes 100% sense that Belotti is the perfect guy for Mourinho. In terms of Manchester United, only Southampton have put more crosses into the box per game. But unfortunately, United have scored a few. They've only scored 10 goals from those crossing situations. Belotti will come in and instantly be that guy. He's also a target. He's also a guy that someone like Antoine Griezmann could play off. Griezmann is so good when he's running onto the ball, past the defence from a deeper position. Belotti's that guy that could do a little layoff or could bring Griezmann into play. We saw at the weekend against Sassuolo, a fantastic little flick that he played through for Falcao, who side-footed the ball home. Something that Griezmann and Belotti could really combine and do. I think we'll move on to the outs, but maybe maybe Zlatan Ibrahimovic is a guy that's going to be moving on, and bringing Belotti in right now when he's young, hungry, 24 years old. He's broken records. He's broken the record that Shevchenko held at that age this season. So it's one of these things where Belotti could be the guy, and he suits the Premier League. He's pace. He's defensively very good as well. I just think he's got everything to make a perfect Premier League striker and would suit this Mourinho Manchester United.
What does bringing in a 24-year-old number 9 do to the current 19-year-old we have at Manchester United? How do you develop Marcus Rashford as a
We don't even have to say a word, Steve, these
if you
days.
bring that player in?
I think the big thing there is Mourinho likes to have target men as a striker. You think of his Inter Milan team, you've got Diego Milito scored a lot of his goals. We've seen him play with Zlatan over the likes of Martial, over the likes of Marcus Rashford. I don't think that United have got a problem there. I think that you could play Belotti Griezmann, you could play Belotti Rashford, you could play Belotti Martial, you could play Martial Rashford. I think what it gives United is great flexibility in terms of their forward line, and that's what will win United a Premier League title. You know, you go back to the 99 team, 4 good strikers there with Belotti, Griezmann, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial. That's 4 strikers that offer a lot of different things that could solve a lot of tactical problems that a defensive backline will give. And I feel like if you had Griezmann, Martial and just Marcus Rashford, that's all like pace, that's all trickery. You don't really have that power that Mourinho really likes, and something like Belotti coming in could be that powerful guy. So I feel it'll complement the other 3 strikers very well.
Okay.
Sam, your point's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Marcus Rashford's played 71 matches for Manchester United as an 18 and 19-year-old with Zlatan ahead of him in the team. What do you think Belotti's going to do to him? Absolutely nothing. Like Dave's just said, you're going to have a range of strikers, and Belotti...
You're supposed to be arguing against Dave, not Sam, Steve. What the fuck, man?
Not arguing against Dave. I'm arguing against Sam's point.
Well,
Marcus Rashford and Belotti are just completely different. I'm not asked what
I'm going to interrupt you. I'm going to interrupt you, Howson, because the reason I make points is purely to stir the debate, not necessarily because that's my opinion. And we are now going to get to your second players. The card you have to deal with is this one.
Wait.
No, we haven't got all day, have we? Right, don't worry. He's made his points. So, please, guesses.
We got Martial and Rashford, and we play in a one-striker system, and we're most likely going to sign Griezmann.
Guesses.
7.
Any other guesses? Dave, quick.
Ace.
Howson.
8 of spades.
It was the 4 of spades. Adam said a 7. So Adam goes first. Howson, you go second. Dave, you go third. Second player. Adam, you're first. Off you go.
Luka Modric.
Oh, tell us all about him.
Again, it's I'm not being realistic, so
it's fine.
Yeah, F you lot. I like Luka Modric. I think he's Real Madrid's most important player. I think he makes them tick. And I would love to see him back in the Premier League in a Manchester United shirt. Can you imagine a midfield 3? I know Toni Kroos would probably be a little bit more ideal, but I'll be honest, I thought one of these guys probably would have picked him already as well. And Modric is my preferred choice in terms of a central midfielder. Absolutely love him. And who needs a bigger shout out? And he got one from Eric Cantona. When we went to see Eric Cantona, remember this, Steve? So you can't argue against the king, Eric, so you shut up this round. When we went to see Eric Cantona said, my favourite player in the world is Luka Modric. The man makes football look simple. He can do it all defensively. He can link up in attack. He can score goals. He can make assists. And I absolutely love him. We should have signed him when he left Tottenham. Obviously, he went to Real Madrid. And if there was any chance to bring him back to the Premier League, United should make it happen. Okay. So Alderweireld and Modric.
Guys, feel free to comment on Luka Modric.
Bringing back the gang, all the Spurs gang. With Luka Modric, he's a good player in the final third. He really links the team together in terms of an attacking sense. Kroos is the guy, that links the play, that controls the tempo of the game. Modric is the guy in the final third, popping the little passes off to Ronaldo, Bale, and that type of thing. A wonderful player, but wouldn't suit Manchester United right now. I think Paul Pogba needs to be the creative hub of this United team. He needs to be the guy linking the midfield, the attack, linking absolutely everything. I think Pogba and Modric doesn't really work as a pairing. They're both quite forward-thinking. They're both quite looking to get into that final third and being on the ball. I just don't think it's the right fit for Paul Pogba. Pogba either needs Ander Herrera or needs a bit of power next to him. I don't think Modric is the correct guy in terms of bringing into the summer. He'd upgrade the team, but again, United potentially are moving to a 4-2-3-1 with Griezmann. Where does Modric fit? Not next to Pogba in a 4-2-3-1. In a 3, yes, maybe with Herrera behind, but I don't think United are going to play a 4-3-3 next season with Griezmann coming in, so I just don't think it's a good fit, but a wonderful player.
Guys, I just want to add to this, by the way. Until we've bought Griezmann, we haven't got Griezmann.
We got Griezmann.
We got Griezmann. Very, very close.
It's done.
And now Griezmann.
So until it happens, I mean, there was a few years ago that Real Madrid were adamant they had David De Gea. Didn't happen.
Stephen Howson told me
until
he
it happens,
knows some guy that sold a house to Antoine Griezmann.
You are second. Who's your second player?
Romelu Lukaku.
Couldn't have
and I'll tell you why. Because as Dave said, I do think we're going to play a 4-2-3-1 next season and not going to play 3 in midfield, which means that it's going to be Herrera and Pogba, which means that the defence is already pretty settled. You know, everyone's clamouring over themselves that we need a new left back and we need a new centre half and this, that, and the other. And we had the best defence in England last year, even though we tossed off the last 4 games. So I think we could have carried it away. We had so many clean sheets and we'll be even better next season. So what I'm going to say is Manchester United's problem is scoring goals. You bring in my first guy, Antoine Griezmann, announce him, and you've got a lot of those problems solved. Now you need to replace what Zlatan's offered in the team this year as that focal point, that target man, that big unit up front that's going to allow us to play, and that is Romelu Lukaku. And I think if you're going to get the best out of Paul Pogba, signing all of his mates isn't a bad way of doing it.
Makes sense. Anybody disagree?
Well, firstly, United had the second best defensive record in terms of conceding goals, House, and Tottenham were number 1. So we need.
I was talking about clean sheets, David. Thank you.
On to number 2. I think Lukaku would be a wonderful sign if he joined United, and he's ready for the job. He's scoring Premier League goals, something that Belotti hasn't got already. His Premier League goals. The only thing I'd say is the consistency of Lukaku is still a little bit hot and cold in terms of his age. You know, he will turn up one week and he'll bag in a hat trick. The next few weeks he'll be a bit missing, and it's one of these things where I feel with Antoine Griezmann or with any attacking midfielders playing behind Lukaku, he's not quite at that level where he's linking with them to a really elite level. He's not really like bringing players into play, and that's the one thing that I think a target man for Mourinho needs is that sort of focal point and that ability to hold the ball. Lukaku pretty much is a poacher with a target man's body. What he needs to develop is his hold-up play. Whether he can do it at United, yeah, that could be fantastic, but I think Belotti's already got that. And that's why I say Belotti over Lukaku, but I'm not saying Lukaku's a bad player. Obviously, he's a fantastic talent in terms of goals he scored in the Premier League at his mere age of, 23 years old?
Dave,
Can Belotti play basketball with Pogba, though? That's the question you got to ask yourself.
Can Belotti do it on a wet, windy night in Stoke?
Dave, your second player.
I'm not sure which one. So I've got a long list of players. Maybe let's go with a central midfielder, because that appears to be the trend of what we're talking about with Mac's suggestion. And I think the only way to upgrade the great Ander Herrera, or play Ander Herrera slightly deeper, or play Ander Herrera somewhere else, maybe at right back, is signing Fabinho from Monaco. What a wonderful player he's been in the last few seasons. You know, coming to Monaco as an inconsistent right back, finishing off in Yardim's side last season, getting to a Champions League semi-final as a central midfielder. His development's been absolutely incredible. You know, the 2 games that I've seen him play live, he's been the best player on the pitch, playing in defensive midfield against Arsenal in the Champions League where Monaco turned them over. Brilliant at breaking up the play, brilliant at just slipping the ball to the attackers ahead of him. And I think that's a skill that's regarded quite highly in the modern game right now. You think Casemiro is probably number 1 in terms of defensive midfielders, but I put Fabinho in the same sort of bracket as that. And Fabinho, a guy we can get, Casemiro, a guy we probably can't get. In terms of stats in Liga this season, for Monaco, he's made one of the most tackles, and he's also completed the most passes, but he's kept it very simple in possession. When you've got someone like Paul Pogba, you want to get him to the ball, you need someone next to him just to slip him it. Slip those 2-yard passes, make it simple for Pogba, allow Pogba to push on, Fabinho can hold, break up the play, simple as that. And I feel that's why Fabinho could be a real asset for Manchester United, and if we were to bring him in, or he could even play right back. You know, he's so adaptable.
If Fabinho came in at right back, would he be second choice to Valencia? At central defence, like in the central midfield, you've already said we'll play 2. So would he be happy being third choice to Pogba and Herrera?
This is the thing. It could be a bit of a mix-up there. It could be him coming in for Ander Herrera. You don't know. This is the thing. I don't know with Mourinho what he wants to do. Obviously, Ander Herrera has been really good this season and is a real asset for United. The other thing there is, again, that tactical flexibility switching between the 2 formations. Imagine playing like one of the big boys, like Ferguson always did, played a 3-man midfield, Fabinho holding, Herrera, Pogba. That's got Paul Pogba's ability to link the play and attack, Herrera's ability to jump out the press and nick the ball, and then Fabinho's ultimate destroy. And that's a really good setup against these bigger sides. I think that's what you've got to kind of consider all these signings is it's a squad game for Manchester United next season. When we go on to lift the Champions League title, we'll play over 50 games in the season. So it's one of these things where squad depth in central midfield, with the losing Morgan Schneidlin, losing Bastian Schweinsteiger, getting someone like Fabinho in could be a really good asset, as well as, like I mentioned, his flexibility.
Hello, is that Fabinho? Would you like to come and play 6 games a year at Manchester United? How's that sound? Sure, Dave.
Left back.
Right, guys, final card for your third choice.
Yeah, I'd like to.
That's a calculator, you fucking idiot!
We're all done with phone games. Guys, last card for ins. Guesses. Nice and quick.
Yo, can I just say, by the way,
No, we're trying. We want to move. I don't want to hold this card for ages. Pick a card. Howson, pick a card.
I'm not really mad. I just want to win.
Pick a card. For the love of God, pick a card.
Jack of Diamonds.
Okay,
7.
Dave.
The king. Of
Okay,
hearts.
pick. Okay, you're both very close. Dave, you've not been first yet, so you can go first. It was a queen.
Get in the lads. Well, I think we should go over to Germany and look for Emil Forsberg. Sign him up from RB Leipzig. RB Leipzig are a team this season that plays such expansive football. And Emil Forsberg is the guy that making them tick. He's got the most assists in Europe's top 5 leagues this season. And only Pascal Gross has created more chances in the Bundesliga. What he'd give United is a playmaker from that left wing. Someone that's going to come inside. With the United shape next season, whether it is a 4-2-3-1 or a sort of 4-4-2, the attackers are going to be getting into the penalty area. They're going to be getting further up, which is going to open up the space for Emil Forsberg. That's exactly what happens at RB Leipzig with Timo Werner and Yusuf Poulsen. They push up and it opens up this massive area for a forward to come inside and to create. And that's where that's where he plays his such good football on the counter-attack. In terms of Leipzig, they scored the most goals on the break. That's where United are going. United are going to a counter-attacking based system, so why not sign the best counter-attacker in Europe? In terms of set pieces as well, something that United have struggled with this season. What they've scored 2 goals
fell asleep there.
from corners and indirect.
Sleep a glass eye, Dave, can't he? What a boring knobber. Christ.
Right, that's not really okay, is it? We've got to be respectful. People are going to be interested. Dave, I think what you were saying was insightful. Please continue.
Yeah, I'm going to continue. I'm going to ignore my colleagues. I'll have to send a letter to PR later on, or maybe an email as it's emails.
Tell me what into my drawer, Dave.
Bullying's not okay. Housen, I would encourage you to be respectful and let Dave have his say. You've been allowed to have your say each time.
It's a debate, mate. It's called butting in to get your point across and winning. That's what it's all about here. Not about letting people have their say. It's about winning. And I'm a born winner, kid.
You're a maniac. Dave.
So, as I was talking about before, I was really interrupted about set pieces and being an issue for Manchester United this season. They've got one of the worst records from set pieces. Something that comes in the comments all the time. What about set pieces? And something that Emil Forsberg could massively improve in terms of assists from corners is the joint best with Toni Kroos from Real Madrid. And there's becoming a bit of a relationship between him and Timo Werner at RB Leipzig, playing that ball to the near post, flicked on goal time. You sign Belotti, who scores a lot from corners, a lot from indirect free kicks. You get Emil Forsberg to take the set pieces. You've got a link up there that's going to be scoring United 15 goals in a season. And that's that, guys. Sorry for boring you with my boring stats as always. Maybe you two here can give me some actual players, not just...
Why don't you go pass out some spreadsheets, Dave?
Okay, right. I like
to get my calculator.
Housen, you're up.
My final player would be Donnarumma, because as much as it's rumbled on, I'm pretty sure that the gay saga is going to end at some point, and I think it's going to be with him leaving. And I think he's the best young goalkeeper out there in world football. I don't think he's the finished article yet, but I think he's very close to being that. He's got a lot of experience for, still a teenager. And I think he is the sort of guy that we should put our faith in, and hopefully he can be our keeper for the next 10, maybe even 20 years. I definitely think the gay's going. As much as I've loved watching Romero this season, I think he's probably not quite up to being Manchester United's number 1. He's the best number 2 in the world, but I think for a number 2, you've got to be a little bit better than that. And I'm a big fan of Donnarumma, and I think the fact that Raiola's his agent means that he's going to have a transfer at some point. You might as well be the ones that benefit from that.
Okay. Anybody want to say anything there? It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because if De Gea doesn't leave,
Dave ain't going, so it's not happening. Dave's not going. No,
okay, right, Adam, your third pick.
Whoever picked so far. You know what? Yeah, hold on.
They're killer. They really are.
I'm just
unbelievable, mate. Seriously.
No one fell asleep though, did you, Dave?
Listen to me. First of all, you lot in the comments so serious, yeah. We got a long summer ahead. Why are you like panicking about serious transfer bait today? Why? Just why? Calm down. We got a long summer. Chill out. People panicking. It's just June. What is it? It's still May. Calm down. And secondly, if I was high, I wouldn't be speaking so much. I'd be chilled as. So I'm definitely not high today. So yeah, moving on from that. What was my first 2? Alderweireld, Modric. Third one. Mate. Let me check my list. Third one
What is happening?
You're not supposed to be prepared for your...
Do you know what the funniest thing here is Adam pretending that he actually did some preparation.
And yet you had a go at Dave for doing preparation.
Andreas Pereira.
You want to buy Andreas Pereira?
He's already
want to bring him back.
There.
That's not in, because when the season finishes, he'll just rejoin the team anyway.
Yeah, but...
the same as Januzaj.
You know what Jose's like with those low moves?
Or like Wilson.
Those low moves are like permanent moves to Jose, so he needs to remember he's our player, bring him back, and give him a chance.
Adam's third choice
Listen,
is to pick a
listen,
Manchester United
listen.
player. And suggest
Sam,
that's
listen
who
to
we
me.
sign in the transfer
Sam,
window.
listen to me. Sam, listen to me.
Yep.
One, it's realistic.
Oh, it is, yeah. I think we'll get him.
Unlike my other two. And two, I thought all the good choices would have been gone by now.
Yeah. That Paul Pogba looks good as well, doesn't he? We should go for him. Shambles.
We sent Paul Pogba on loan and signed him back. Can do the same with Pereira, right?
Yeah, but he's
As if
actually
you
on
picked
loan.
Pereira, you absolute widge.
Yeah, he has. Right, well, I guess we'll move on from that.
Do you want any arguments, Sam? He's already a player.
Yeah, what's the...
There's so many players that he could have picked. Mbappe, maybe. That would have been a good one. Maybe Perisic.
I was going to pick R9
Maybe
for the
Van
lads.
Dijk. I don't know. Just
Tony Kroos.
I was going to pick
Yeah,
R9 for
anyone.
the lads in the comments, but I couldn't do it because he's retired, unfortunately. So I had to be more realistic and pick a Man
Yeah, you were
United.
very realistic. Pick a player we've already got. Okay, right, we're going to move on to the out section now, which means I'll get my cards out again. This time, no arguments, just very quickly, just shout out a card.
5.
Howson, this is so easy. You just say a number.
6.
Okay, Adam.
I got 5 on it.
Dave said 5.
Oh, shit. 7.
It's a 10, so that idiot wins. But, Jesus. Adam, who do you want to leave the club? And please don't start with, like, Gareth Bale.
Right, I am going to absolutely...
Blazer.
All right, listen. I brought in Alderweireld, yeah. So, wait. Griezmann's already coming, yeah. So we need to get rid of someone that's going to play in that area. So Captain Wayne Rooney, unfortunately, it's time to go, mate.
Okay.
It's realistic, that one, unlike Alderweireld
Congratulations,
and Pereira.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
It's listen, this is why, though, I want to see him go out, having lifted a trophy that has completed his full set, having broken the record and become our all-time goal-scoring record, having seen him do all of that for Manchester United has been an absolute honour to see him do that in a Manchester United shirt from the start to the finish. And I don't want to see him continue to decline in a Manchester United shirt. It's not a way that you want to remember your players like that. And also, I don't think he'd be happy to sit on the bench. He's on big wages. We could clear up those wages for other players. And I think it's just the right move for everybody concerned.
Okay, everybody agree?
I'd say so. I'd agree with that.
Okay, all right. Howson, you
Sorry,
picked
Steve.
6, so you're next. You're first out.
Ashley Young.
Okay, please tell us why. Captain against Chelsea, we beat them. That's something.
I think it was in spite of, not because of. Ashley Young brings nothing to the table. The fact that he puts in a lot of effort is ridiculous. That's something that people think is worthy of keeping him in a United shirt. Mo Farah runs a lot. Doesn't make him a good footballer. Just because you put effort in, it's the minimum expectation to put effort in. You shouldn't be saying, he puts effort in, so we should keep him. You need to be talking about what he offers as a footballer, what he offers going forward, what he offers with a ball at his feet. All right, he might not be the worst guy in the world defensively, but we bought the guy as a left winger. Why are we considering him as a fullback? And I know you can say the same about Valencia, but actually Valencia is very effective as a fullback and as an attacking fullback. Young offers nothing. All Young is doing is clogging up a space for somebody else in the academy that's probably going to be a better option as a squad player. Because Ashley Young's not a first-team player, so he's not taking anyone's first-team opportunities, but he is hindering the progress of any of those young lads coming through. And we know without the injury, you probably want to see an Axel Tuanzebe be given an opportunity because he would have played Ashley Young. And you can say the same about any of the lads that's at left-back and potentially even the lads left and right wing as well, because he's so shit in all of these positions that he fills in all of them. So Ashley Young, for me, it's time that he gets moved on. Someone at the bottom half of the Premier League or even Championship, because I think that's his true level.
Listen, I got a valid argument here, and it comes directly from the Alka. He says, but Young's our DJ, for fuck's sake.
We'll cope.
In
We've got
terms of other
Spotify.
arguments, could you argue that?
Fine.
Could you argue in a year when potentially Wayne Rooney is going to leave, and there's a lot of new players, that he is someone that's been at the club for longer, someone who's much more aware of traditions, expectations, and has more experience winning trophies than most of the players currently at Manchester United? Is that experience worth having in the dressing room?
Listen, we survived Albert the Kitman moving on. We'll survive Ashley Young moving on as well.
Fair enough. Okay, Dave, please, you're first out.
Still, it's kind of up in the air. I don't know if it's quite an out, but it's sort of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, obviously with the injury. I wouldn't sign him on a new 1-year deal. I think it's time to move Manchester United on from the Zlatan time. The Zlatan time was a fun time. Before his injury, he was directly involved in 46% of Manchester United's goals, 17 goals and 5 assists. Been fantastic, the hub. The thing that you criticise, missing those big chances. He missed more big chances than any other player in the Premier League. If he'd taken those chances, would United be in the top 4? Probably yes. But still, he scored goals and his impact was massive to the Europa League final, the EFL Cup final, which he pretty much won on his own. United had a really off day then, but Zlatan was king that day. But I just think it's time. It's like Henrik Larsson had his little peak at the back part of his career. Really good, but it's time now to be like Manchester United without Zlatan. It moves on to Pogba's Manchester United.
Larsson was only there for like 2 months. 3 months.
What a weird bit to pick up on. But yes, he only played 3 league games.
Only got his Swedish. Let's just make the comparison.
Okay, Adam, do you think it's time to get rid of Zlatan?
Do you know what? Yeah, I could see arguments for keeping him, and I could see arguments for letting him go. If he leaves, I'm not that bothered because we will replace him and we will move on. We've seen in the last half of the season, yes, we did miss him, but I think it was more we missed him because of the numbers were down. I think the style of football without him sometimes is better. But I could also see that, just say, for example, he gets back to fitness around September, October, or whenever it is towards the end of the year. I could see that being a big boost to Manchester United if he was to come back in. Because if he came back in and he was fit towards the hectic part of the season, December, January time, it could be a big boost to have him back. But we don't know how he's going to be after that injury. He could never be the same again. We don't know. So it's a difficult one. I think it would probably, given the wages he demand and all that, probably make sense to let him go. But then not all decisions are made on just football. There's also commercial reasons to keep him as well. And I'm sure the players love him in the dressing room. So I can see arguments for both, That's my first bit of seriousness today. Now it's over again. I'm going to fuck shit up.
It was good of you. Okay, right. We're now going to move on to second choice. So I need you all to shout for cards, please.
7.
Ace.
Howson.
8 of diamonds.
It was the 2 of hearts. Adam said a 7. That is the closest. Adam wins.
Well, I've got to pick my second out.
I thought Dave said ace.
Yeah. That's
Ace is
Going ace is high or ace is
Ace
low?
is always high.
Ace is high.
Adam.
Right.
It's not.
Listen, I want to see us strengthen our defence, and I also want to see us give Axel Tuanzebe opportunities. So for that reason, I'm saying Chris Smalling to go. I feel it was a toss-up between Smalling and Jones. I think when both have played this season under Jose Mourinho, so I'm kind of excusing Louis van Gaal's part where Chris Smalling was great for him. But under Jose, Jones looked better. They both have their injury concerns and problems. And I feel if we let one of them go, it frees up a spot in the squad. Because there's always either both of them are injured or one of them are injured. There's never both of them are always fit and ready to play and in form. So just get rid of one of them, free up a spot in the team for Tuanzebe to come through and get chances. And unfortunately, my coin toss landed on Chris Smalling.
Could you imagine?
I do think Phil Jones has a bigger ceiling in terms of potential. I think there's a lot more to come from him, but it's always if we can keep him fit. And I feel the same with Chris Smalling, but I feel if we worked on Jones, we could probably get more out of him. And I think Jose would probably think that too, maybe.
Could you imagine another scenario in which last season's player of the season was then someone at the end of the following season you said just... Pardon?
Like Juan Mata at Chelsea.
Yeah, but nobody at Chelsea was saying, "Oh, let's get rid of this guy," apart from the manager.
Yeah, he left.
He did, yeah.
Pretty key member of staff, that though, isn't it?
Not like the tea lady saying, "I hate that twat." He never says thank you.
You've made this one difficult, lads. Come on.
You made it difficult.
We're trying to encourage some debate.
No, you're not. Every time anyone chimes in, you tell them to shut up. So you shut up.
Shout over Dave. Right. Does anybody have any thoughts on Chris Smalling?
I think Chris Smalling...
His voice doesn't suit his size. There's a thought.
That's very true.
In terms of on the pitch, I think it's an interesting one under Louis van Gaal. He did play very well because it was a possession-based style. He really suited that on the ball. He's a better player, a little bit more safer than Phil Jones. but I kind of agree. It's kind of the toss-up between the two this summer, and it's a real difficult one. I think one of them's got to go. I think a centre-back potentially needs to be brought in to replace one of those guys. But it's kind of like these guys they've been around for a bit now, and I don't know if they're quite going to get to where we thought they're going to get to, especially with Chris Smalling. Hasn't looked as good as Jones has looked in Mourinho's side. But then again, they're both still young, and it's a real weird one where centre-backs will hit their peak at like 29, 28. We don't have the great. They're not great centre backs, I think. And if United want to get back to that top level, they will have to let maybe both of them go, or one of these guys go, bring someone else in that does have a bit of a higher ceiling.
Okay. So, Howson, it's you now, isn't it? Go on then.
David De Gea.
You want him out? Controversial.
You can't want him out.
Well, I can, because you know what? Here's the thing. I think he's probably the best goalkeeper in the world. I do think he's better than Neuer. I think that he wants to go to Madrid. He made that evident by nearly going to Madrid and only a corrupted computer file / fax machine sorted it out that he stayed. So if he wants to go, let him go, because I'm sick of this saga every single summer. I'd rather us concentrate on someone who wants to be here and wants to win things for Manchester United, not someone pining for his tart back in Madrid.
Pining for his tart back in Madrid. They do make great cakes. Dave, do you agree? Do you think it's just get rid of him?
I think it's, I kind of agree with Howson in terms of he wants to leave. He doesn't want to be at Manchester United.
Hold on a minute.
Can I just finish my point?
This man has been doing you over all debate, and you're just going to agree with him that easy.
If I could finish my point, then I could say why I think he should stay. But if you want to jump in, that's fine with me, Mac. In terms of him, he's been fantastic for United, and losing one of the best goalkeepers in the world is going to be a big thing. And that's something that United, if they want to get to the level where they want to get Champions League competitiveness, they want to win the Champions League, they've got to keep players like David De Gea at the club. So I don't know. It feels as a fan that I'd want him to go because he doesn't want to play for Manchester United. But as somebody that looks at football in a different way, he's got to stay. The amount of times he's won United games, he's won United points, absolutely incredible.
You don't want to be here, Dave?
It's insane. And that's kind of the thing where you've got to keep your best players. So that's why David De Gea should be staying at Manchester United, if possible.
Have you heard it from his mouth that he wants to leave, Steve? Fortnite, yeah. Don't want to go.
Okay, right.
Why would you just
sign for them already?
No, he hasn't.
Well, that's different. In fairness to that was a very different scenario. In that, although he did agree to join, he was different manager, different prospects at Manchester United, as opposed to what is happening now. I'm not saying that means he wants to stay. I'm not saying that means he wants to be at Real Madrid. But the circumstances on which you are judging him are perhaps not the circumstances that currently exist around Manchester United.
I just don't feel, Dave, like we've got Herrera and Mata here, so that's key. Remember, I think if we said to Dave, look, Dave, we're not selling you, I think he's not the guy that's going to kick up a fuss, because Herrera and Mata are going to be there like, Dave,
it's okay, have a hug.
What are you doing, you dicks? Like,
right.
Come and have a hug.
Final one.
Right?
Final one.
Keep him against his will.
Card, everybody. Final one.
Sevens.
Sam, I've missed the second choice.
Dave, I'm sorry. I'm not ready for this card. Please make your second choice.
It's going to be Januzaj. We've forgotten Januzaj, still a Manchester United player on loan at Sunderland. I feel it's time to sell Januzaj.
Oh, that's an absolute tap-in, Dave.
That's why I'm going to win the debate, not shouting over people and saying people are boring, House, and by making good points.
Oh, stop being boring.
I'm first
You're just
up.
a hipster. You don't even know who that RB Leipzig player is.
What, he's got the most assists in Europe? If you don't know who Emil Forsberg is, you need to probably watch some more football, mate. So anyway, in terms of Januzaj, he needs that break. He needs the Pogba break. He needs the Lukaku break. He's got the talent there, but he needs to maybe leave Manchester United to take that next step in his career. What United need to do, if they sell Januzaj, is put a buyback in that contract. We've seen the tomfoolery around Michael Keane that's been heavily linked to United, selling him for 2 million, buying him back for 25. Now, that is terrible business. Ed Woodward needs to be the guy that sorts this stuff out. Sell Januzaj, put a buyback in there. I feel like he just needs to develop himself, needs to mature a little bit, but he has that talent. We all remember him breaking onto the scene. What a talent he was. He just needs a bit of time for himself to develop his own football game, get those minutes, play for a team that potentially fits his style, that is progressive, that is attacking, not Sunderland, that are absolutely rubbish this season. David Moyes, what a joke. But in terms of Januzaj, he just needs that little bit of a break. Needs to focus, needs to get his head down, needs to play football, because he can get to that right level. Why? It's not a bad thing if United sell him now, have that buyback 3 years later, pick him back up. Because he wants to play for United, but I just don't think he's ready yet.
Okay, either of you think that Januzaj should stay?
No. I think he's. I think it's a sad case of similar to Federico Makeda, where the things that have got him to the position where he got an opportunity for the first team, he's stopped doing them, stopped working hard, stopped applying himself. He's clearly got talent, but I think it just goes to show that, no matter how much talent a player can have, if they don't apply themselves, they're not going to make it. Not at United anyway.
Okay, right. Now I am going to do the third one. So, cards.
8.
7.
Howson.
6.
Is a king. Dave, you're up.
Right, so this is the reason why I'm going to win this debate, is because I'm going to go, Manchester United need to sell Varela.
Okay.
Simple as that. We loaned him to Eintracht Frankfurt this season. He was all right, played a few games in and out of the squad, but what he did for the cup final was ridiculous. So if you don't know, Frankfurt were playing Dortmund in the cup final in Germany. What Varela did was he got a tattoo against the club's wishes. That got infected, which meant that he couldn't play against Dortmund.
Yeah.
You're a professional player. That's ridiculous. Varela's not going to be United's right back. He's over the age of being able to be, having potential and so forth. So for me, it's time to put him in the bin.
Makes sense. Put him in the bin. Anybody disagree?
No.
No, everyone's happy with the bin.
No.
Okay, Howson. No pressure. It's almost like you didn't know you were going to have to do this.
There was people I was going to choose, and they got chose.
I see.
Chose.
They just weren't chose on purpose. Very articulate usually.
He says he's got a big look at it.
It's like that time when you had a go at Dave for being prepared has come back round and...
Oh, yeah. Maybe someone like Andres Pereira going on loan, Howson, that could be a good idea.
I think James Wilson.
Okay.
What the do you lot are shitheads, man. Absolute shitheads. You make me take all the abuse in the comments by saying fan favourites like Rooney and Smalling. And then you say Januzaj and Varela.
Yeah.
And they should be sold.
They finished. Put your back in.
Yeah. No, piss off.
I think Wilson's had a similar career to what Will Keane had at Manchester United. One of the most naturally gifted footballers that's ever come through the academy, and it's been absolutely destroyed by injuries. And I think that you're not going to get the best out of James Wilson. He's so far behind in the pecking order at the moment that even the under-23s, he's not really going to offer us that much. It's certainly not going to do anything for his career. So I think he needs to go out and find somewhere that he's going to play as a first-choice player, and that might be like League One level. I don't think he'll be Championship with his injury record. So I think he needs to be moved on and allow someone coming up from underneath him, a younger player perhaps, Bowie or Burkhardt, to be given an opportunity in the 23s and see how they can grow because they've got age on their side. It's a mirror image of what happened with Will Keane, who's an absolutely banging player, but injuries have really affected him. Okay, fair enough. It's another exciting choice. Adam.
There's my go.
Yes, it is.
Who did I pick again?
You say
Rooney and Smalling.
Sergio Romero. Because
Okay.
Dave Steyn is too good to be number 2. Is Sergio Romero. I know he probably wouldn't mind sticking around, being number 2, picking up trophies from the bench and probably playing the odd Champions League group game and stuff like that. But with this talk that Dave perhaps maybe wants to stay and he's not going to kick up a fuss and force his way out of the club, if that's the case, I want Joe Pereira to be our number 2, take all those cup games and stuff, try and get some experience under his belt. And Sergio Romero deserves to be number 1 for someone. It's not like Romero shit, get him out thing. It's kind of like, if Dave stays, I can see Sergio going.
Why would you not want to have 2 really good goalkeepers and then put Joe Pereira on loan? Yeah, but then you put him on loan to get minutes.
Look how much football Sergio Romero gets. He's going to want first team football, surely. He was already going to go to Boca Juniors, I think it was in January, but the potential for Dave to leave was still there, so he stuck around. So if Dave stays now, why in his mind would he want to stay at Man United to be on the bench? If he does, then you've got to question his ambitions.
But we also saw he played the Europa League final, so it isn't just David De Gea's number 1. It's competitive, and having 2 goalkeepers.
If we get to a Champions League final, Sergio Romero, and we've got Sergio Romero and David De Gea, or even a Champions League knockout stage.
What was the Europa League?
He's not going to be playing.
The Europa League was the biggest game that we've had in the last 5 seasons.
Man.
That's fact. That is absolute fact. That's not messing around.
If Jose Mourinho stuck Sergio Romero in net in a European Cup semi-final, quarter-final, final, not a Europa League, he's absolutely fucking bonkers.
Well, he did. He did it already.
He actually risked Adam, but in the Europa League, he risked the possibility of ever reaching that semi-final because without the Europa League, he wouldn't be in the Champions League. So
Sergio Romero is good enough against people like that, against people like fucking Celta Vigo and that second-rate teams that you'd expect to dick over 2 legs, 1 leg, whatever. Look, that's not the level where United want to be at. If United are playing in the knockout stage of the Champions League, you do not want Sergio Romero in goal. Are we not? Surely, if Dave and Romero are at Old Trafford, you're going to pick Romero over David De Gea. Give me a fucking break, guys.
Okay.
Come on.
Have a quick look at some of the comments, and then you'll each get 30 seconds to argue for the 6 changes that you'd make at Manchester United. Then we'll find out who win. So, Romero in, are you mad to make him leave? Lingard in forever. Adam's mad. Signed Griezmann. Basically, people aren't happy about talking about Romero. Someone says David De Gea, David De Gea. Well, I don't know.
Common sense, right?
Arguments about Jesse Lingard in the comments.
Utkarsh knows. Anyway, he says Adam's making sense.
Daniel Max wants Lingard out.
Hey, listen. No, Jesse.
Doug Trent says Lingard needs to fix up or leave.
Someone said I am Romero. That's why I'm
kind of hoping you'd react to
Someone
the
just
Lingard
said you were
comments
uneducated as well,
rather than just reading them like I am, because I'm also reading them.
PB says I'm uneducated. Little does he know I have a law degree, which I paid for online.
Very exciting. Okay, right. So 30 seconds.
It's not a university, mate. They give you a certificate, but it's not a qualification.
Yeah, which I made that joke before you, Steve. So you might want to listen up next time.
Howson, 30 seconds to argue for the 6 changes you'd make at Manchester United to win this debate. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Go.
Wilson's doing nothing in the first team. Let him go. De Gea's going to go, which is why we need to bring a new goalkeeper in. It was the other one that I said. Ashley Young does absolutely nothing to the squad apart from taking up a load of wages and someone's spot in the first team squad. Now, the players that I need to bring in, Lukaku and Griezmann's going to make the difference for us going forward. We're going to score a lot more goals and be a lot more successful. And because De Gea's going, we need a goalkeeper. The best young goalkeeper in the world is Donnarumma. There's your 3 ins, your 3 outs, and I'm the winner of this debate.
Someone just commented Dave's lips. That's it. The only 2 words.
Okay. Right, that was some solid arguing, to be fair. Adam, you can get out of the comments for 30 seconds. You ready?
Well, you've been disowning these guys in the comments, man. What you been doing?
I've been trying to encourage this debate.
Right, my free in.
You've got 30 seconds. Go.
Alderweireld, Modric, Pereira. Solid up that defence. The midfield. Andres Pereira comes back. Everything's a good one. Rooney is best if he leaves. Smalling, do us a favour. Sergio Romero. We obviously want to keep David De Gea. David De Gea ain't going to force his way out. And Sergio needs to go. He needs to be a number 1 somewhere. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah, good luck with that. Dave, you ready?
Well,
you
ready?
Go. Yeah, go.
In terms of outs, of course, Zlatan Ibrahimovic moving Manchester United on. Januzaj needs that move for himself and Manchester United Football Club, and Varela is a bit of an idiot. In terms of ins, of course, Belotti's going to bring goals and a target and a real old-school English type of player. In terms of the other players, Fabinho's going to give you that bite in midfield next to Paul Pogba, and, of course, Emil Forsberg is the guy making all the chances and creating all the goals. Simple as that.
That was very quick. Okay, so that's it. That's our debate. If you have any opinions, please get in the comments below. I now have to decide who wins. In terms of personnel, I would probably side with Howson's list, but Dave made much better arguments, and he wasn't rude to me, consistently. Or other debaters. He didn't shout anybody down. He didn't tell anybody off. He just made his point politely.
It's a debate, Sam. That's what you do.
You can still be nice to people.
We've
so
seen
Dave
in politics
wins.
where shouting loudest isn't the most important thing, Alson. It's
really, Donald Trump's the president of America, mate. What does that tell you?
Yeah, but not many people are shouting like that now, are they? Anyway, so I think Howson's list was pretty good, but I'm gonna make Dave the winner because I can. That's the power I wield.
I've seen about 100 comments say Adam wins. So
get in the comments. Let us know what you think. Tell us if you think whose list you think was better, what your own list would be, because that's very interesting. Enjoy the rest of your day and try not to go completely insane during the transfer window. We'll be doing these every single Wednesday, a live debate. So keep coming, keep checking, keep getting involved. We love it.